Hello, brothers. Someone asked me a question at the Guangzhou Auto Show because I was there and he was struggling between two cars. One is the Polar Fox T5 and the other is the Leapmotor C11. To be honest, if you let a car reviewer help you make a choice, then since I am standing in front of Polar Fox, to be honest, I will recommend Polar Fox T5 to you. Why? Let's talk about it from 4 points. The first point is very simple. In the current market competition of new energy, there are two things to look at. The first is the frame, and the second is your power unit. That is, your battery configuration. Polar Fox T5 uses the battery of CATL, and Leapmotor C11 uses the battery of AVIC. CATL has a name called Ningguang. Why is it called Ningguang? Because it is the world's #1 in power batteries. You want to use the world's #1 battery as the main supplier of ArcFox. Is this supplier worthy of our consumers' trust? Let me tell you another detail. I just talked about batteries. The range of the Leapmotor C11 is slightly longer than that of this car. But don't just look at the data on the books, because there are differences between CATL's batteries and the Leapmotor C11's batteries in this Bank of China, especially in terms of electric temperature and electric control. Don't think that the data on my books is very high. In fact, because the battery of the Z11 is relatively heavy, the actual battery life of the Leapmotor is close to 80% off, or even 25% off. To be honest, this car is hardly falsely labeled, but you don't believe it. We will evaluate the two cars next and then tell you with real data. The second point is that as a new energy vehicle, it is a matter of great concern. That is, the drag coefficient. To be honest, the drag coefficient of the Polar Fox is 0.245, while that of the Leapmotor C11 is 0.285. Don't underestimate this point. This difference of a few 0.00 is actually very critical. Moreover, the body design of the entire Polar Fox is completely in line with the aerodynamic design method. You can see that the whole body is very slender, and the design of the whole car is also very powerful. That is to say, when you pull the waistline to the bottom, we compare it with the Leapmotor C11. In this way, this car has a better blocking coefficient. Are you kidding? To use an old saying, reduce the drag coefficient. If it has excellent performance in terms of battery life, and the drag coefficient can be reduced, then it can run farther. I believe this is the real hard work. Let me say one more thing. The third point is the cockpit. In fact, among the new forces in car manufacturing today, we have heard many people say that it is all a screen, right? You can see all these contents on this screen, and everything is integrated on it. So let's talk about this. In addition to the interior that is visible to the naked eye, there are also invisible things. For example, environmentally friendly materials. We have always advocated that car manufacturing should work hard on materials, and in this regard, Polar Fox does better than Leapmotor. Why do I say that? The entire Polar Fox car manufacturing process uses a large amount of environmentally friendly or renewable energy, which means that the materials used have been optimized, and the VOC in the car has reached the standard of maternal and infant level. I remember last year we test drove the Forest Edition of the Polar Fox Alpha. Why is it called the Forest Edition? It's because the entire interior of the car is made of environmentally friendly materials. Let me put it this way. The most important thing when buying a new car is that there should be no peculiar smell in the car. Come on, you guys go and make a Leapmotor C11 and compare it with it. This feeling is really a very conscientious car model that can be made. Say it again. I've come to the fourth point, the materials. That's why I have to remind everyone to pay more attention to the materials when it comes to car manufacturing. The ArcFox T5 uses a front McPherson and rear multi-link, while the Leapmotor C11 uses a front double wishbone and rear 5-link multi-link. To be honest, they are the same materials, but when it comes to the steel content, don't think that the cost of using heavy steel is necessarily good. I remember more than 10 years ago, when we were still journalists, we were talking about lightweight body and lightweight body materials. You are also made of steel, and the heaviest one is not the best. Just like the same engine, some people say that iron pillars are definitely good. Are aluminum ones definitely bad? Or is it necessarily the best? This is all relative. But in terms of suspension, the materials used in this car are really well made. Then let's talk about the design of the two cars. The Polar Fox T5 uses the Nordic design style, while the Leapmotor C11 uses the style of some of our domestic designers. To be honest, it's old-fashioned, everyone knows it, right? This T5 uses a hatchback design style. I think this car has some advantages in terms of the shape of the entire car body, and even the psychological rules that attract young people. Finally, I want to say one thing, that is, whether you are driving a pure electric car or an extended range car, The most important thing is the ride comfort. Didn't I just mention it? This car uses environmentally friendly materials, and it is as soft as a baby's skin. On the other hand, some cars, right? Let me be frank. I have also tried the Leapmotor C11. After I tried it, I also made suggestions and requests, but he didn't listen. People didn't dare to enter. But to be honest, this brand is very receptive. In the current market situation of new car-making forces, a company that listens to advice and listens to consumers' suggestions is the only one that can truly cater to consumers and be popular with the public.